This is from the New York Post. Huge news. Blindsided Jack Black addresses Tenacious D bandmate's shameful comment about Trump assassination attempt. So Jack Black said, let me see if we have the... this is the actual statement from the video. I'll play the video for you guys first. Jack Black said he was blindsided. He's canceling the tour. All future creative works are shut down. This is what happened at their event. Here's the video. Quick setup. Jack Black of Tenacious D is singing to his bandmate Kyle Gass, "Happy birthday to you, make a wish."
Make a wish, Canada. Don't miss Trump next time.
Everybody gasps. Edgy joke. We've got a bunch of updates to go through. This was the remainder of their tour dates. They had 11 tour dates, 9 of which were sold out, all shut down. Now, what was crazy to me was hearing this, that it seemed like what happened was, with Jack Black not addressing this on stage, with not hearing any word until the next day, it seemed like Jack must have gone to Kyle Gass and said, apologize. Kyle said no. News, however, this morning, Kyle Gass did apologize, posting. I'm sorry, this is Jack Black. Let me pull up the Kyle Gass statement on Instagram.
Yeah, this isn't an apology.
No, this is Jack Black saying, "I was blindsided after much reflection. I no longer feel it is appropriate to continue the Tenacious D tour, and all future creative plans are on hold. I am grateful to the fans for their support and understanding." We then had this from Kyle Gass. He said this morning, "The line I improvised on stage Sunday night in Sydney was highly inappropriate, dangerous, and a terrible mistake. I don't condone violence of any kind in any form against anyone. What happened was a tragedy, and I'm incredibly sorry for my severe lack of judgment. I profoundly apologize to those I've let down and truly regret any pain I've caused." Now, what I've heard since then throughout the day, they're not, I don't know if they're actually sincere or they actually care. Rumor is they didn't intentionally cancel their tour. The insurance companies said, "We cannot insure you when you say these things, and we're out." The venues then said, "If you don't have insurance, you don't have a show." And that ended the tour, and they have no recourse.
And there's a Senator Ralph Babbitt, he's an Australian senator, sent a message saying they should be deported. He said that there's no place in Australia for anyone who calls for another person's assassination. And he contrasted it to the way Australia reacted when Novak Djokovic, sorry guys, the tennis player, I can't say it.
Oh, yeah.
He was deported from Australia because he didn't get the vaccine when he was trying to play in the Australian Open. I mean, it was fascinating to see him say, we treated this guy like he was going to endanger our nation. We should treat this type of extreme rhetoric the same way.
Well, I just want to say this. I'm a free speech absolutist, so I really could care less if Kyle Gass said it. And you know what? I think he was just trying to be edgy and funny. I bet he doesn't even really want Donald Trump to die.
He doesn't. I don't think he did.
I disagree. He meant it.
You think he won?
He 100% meant it.
I don't think so.
Team Low Road. He meant it.
I will say, I think he said what a lot of people on the far left do believe. Communists do want, who do believe, but Donald Trump is Hitler, did want him to get shot in the head.
Here's what I do not think Kyle Gass actually wanted that. I think that for the past 15 or so years, liberals have built a culture of calling for violence, saying punch a Nazi, advocating for these things, depicting themselves holding up Trump's head or pointing guns at him. And Kyle thought he was making the liberal joke that was acceptable in liberal circles without thought. But the attitude has shifted in Western society because a man literally killed people that day. Or actually, he killed a man that day, nearly killed several more who are still in the hospital, and Donald Trump also took a bullet to the side of his head. They still are living in this world where it's okay to make these jokes. And now, what they don't realize is that when they would go on social media and say punch a Nazi and get away with it, because they had control of the cultural levers, all that it matters now is the insurance company said, Mr. Black, you do realize that there are crazy people who have just tried to kill the president of the the front runner for the presidency and a former president. If you're saying you want that to happen, we can't provide insurance for your venue. And they're going, whoa, but we make these jokes all the time.
Did you see that?
No, it's changed.
Did you see the CNN clip where she started to say, the anchor today started to say, oh, they're aiming for Trump or something? She's like,
we got it right here.
Yeah,
Let's play it. Here we go.
He has said many, many times, after having been questioned many times about this, that he's not stepping down and he's going to be the nominee. So at some point, Democrats have to decide that they want to try to win this election and turn their fire on Donald Trump. I think there is... I shouldn't have said turn their fire. I apologize. That was not the phrase that I meant. They need to turn their focus on Donald Trump.
They're hardwired that this was okay for so long, and it's like They didn't open the email.
Do we need to
The rules
pro-clutch
changed.
this much? Do we really think that like that turn of phrase
No,
is what?
but it is kind of a rhetoric that's like this kind of like, you know.
I do not care on a normal day that someone says turn their fire or put them in the bullseye or whatever. The issue is the snowflake doesn't blame itself for the avalanche. And after 10 years of them saying this man is literally Hitler who must be stopped by any means necessary, and then after someone actually takes a shot at the man and kills an innocent bystander, it is right, it is correct for them, and I respect that she said I shouldn't have said it that way. I respect it. The snowflakes are starting to recognize now, like Kyle Gass and this one at CNN, that they are the avalanche causing these things. And I'm not saying fire them. I actually think we should accept the apology of Kyle Gass. I like Tenacious D. They support Joe Biden. That's fine. Kyle Gass came out and said, I profoundly apologize. I should not have said this. I accept your apology, because now with that apology and with us accepting it, they're going to go back on stage acknowledging the way the culture has shifted. We will not tolerate this.
J.D. Vance once called Trump an American Hitler. Is he, to piggyback on your metaphor,
he apologized for that?
For all the shooter have known that, you know, the apology isn't heard.
Didn't I just say we should accept apologies?
The extreme rhetoric is what everybody hears, and then, you know, nobody hears the apology. Nobody cares.
Didn't I just say if you make an apology, I accept it?
And that makes it all okay? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And so J.D. Vance has come out a long time after those comments he made saying it was inappropriate. He shouldn't have said those things. He's realized why he was wrong. And now he's literally the VP. Mm-hmm. That's why I'm for paths to redemption. What we show by, I say, bring back Tenacious D, bring back the tour. Guys, come on back. I understand you made a joke. You didn't realize the nature of what you were saying. You've apologized for it. And now what we do is we wave that flag around to make sure everyone knows, do not say this about Donald Trump. Do not engage its behavior. It is no longer acceptable, and you will lose your livelihood and your job. We don't want to see that happen to you. So be nice and play fair.
No, I'll take like 20 of these people getting canceled forever. Thank you very much.
The beautiful trend on the right, this theme of redemption, it's a Christian theme. People talk about it a lot. We see it a lot on the right. It's such a beautiful thing. I'm not Christian.
Well, part of that is forgiveness, right? Like if someone apologizes, begs for your forgiveness, that is supposed to be one of the ways to seek redemption. I mean, really, the other part of that is that you're not supposed to just continue on with the behavior. It's
like
not
Amber
enough.
Rose.
It's not. It's not enough to say like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that one time," and then be like, "Well, I'm going to use a different allusion to violence to talk about this." Like, you have to repent and change course. But I think that there has to be a path for both things. Like, you can remember that someone did something wrong, but if they repent, be like, okay, how do we move forward? Because if we always get stuck in these cycles of like, well, you said this mean thing and then I said this mean thing and whatever else, like there's no way forward from there.
The most important thing I see here is if we tell Kyle Gass and Jack Black, who have tens of millions of fans, Jack Black, who is in these blockbuster children's movies, that there's no path to redemption, I guarantee you what they do. They don't want to be poor. They don't want to lose their livelihoods. They're going to say, okay, they're going to have a business meeting and say, we have basically lost the entirety of conservative and moderate America. What do we do? And they're going to say, if we lean into this, the progressives will keep giving us money and it's better than zero.
Do you think they care? They care about the conservatives? I don't think so.
No. They care about making money, and they're scared that insurance companies drop them.
That way,
if they're forced to endorse the far left to stay afloat, they will do it. I don't want them going down that path. I want Kyle Gass and Jack Black to come out and say, it was wrong of us to make these comments about Donald Trump. And that shows deference. And I say, thank you, gentlemen. The new society, the society that we want, the America that we want, does not tolerate calls for assassination against political leaders. You've apologized for that, and let that be a lesson to everybody else. We don't tolerate those calls for violence. If we say no to your apology, they will double down. They will go to all the far leftists and say, will you guys give us money and support if we double down on this? Because they've ostracized us.
I know. I think your point is extremely valid. I just feel like nobody on the right has ever been extended that grace before. So
because they're evil.
Well, right.
And we're not.
But sometimes you speak you speak to them in the language that they understand.
I don't think that Kyle and Jack Black are evil people. I think they're doofy normies. And they're marching about as the culture told them it was okay. Kyle Gass made this joke because all of these people have been going online and getting away with it for so long that it's normalized to them. Let's take that normalization away.
Does Jack Black have any trans kids?
I don't know if he has any.
A lot of Hollywood's
got one, I think.
I do think this is part of it, though. Like, maybe the tour is just canceled because Black Jack is like
Blackjack.
Whoa.
Jack Black, that guy, my favorite part of Blackjack. No, Jack Black is like, I don't want to be on stage with you right now. Like, I actually feel really upset about what you did. I think that was too far. Like, what if it's...
But he didn't.
No way.
Wait. There is a rumor. There is a rumor. There is a rumor he unfollowed Kyle Gass.
Look, and what?
Yeah.
And look, maybe it's like
on Instagram, really?
And,
that's
and maybe it's not like because he's like, oh, you can't talk about Trump that way. Maybe it's like because you're costing us tons of money. I mean, whatever it is.
Yeah, he's trying not to mess up his Kung Fu Panda money.
Right, but whatever reason, like maybe the venues cancel them, but also maybe they themselves as a band have been split over this issue, whether it be financial or ethical.
I mean, Jack Black is definitely like Tim said, I 100% agree. Like, obviously he's a Biden guy, but I still like him, and I still like some of his movies, especially High Fidelity. Shout out. I think he's a talented musician. I've seen them live before. He's just a kind of a normie. I would say I would be willing to accept that Jack Black is a normie Democrat. I don't know anything. I know less about Kyle Gass, and they both laughed. They didn't issue any apology until after the backlash.
Yep.
I would have accepted it. I would have been more willing to accept it if they immediately put it out after the show. Like, I know I laughed. I was nervous. I didn't know how to react. This is not okay. We talked about it. They didn't do anything until what I believe their venues canceled on them anyway.
Yep.
Or that they got a call from Disney.
I don't know for sure if that's real, the venue's canceled on them. I will say we are quite literally in a conference room with contracts and insurance. We do this stuff all the time. I've made this point all the time that often it's not about what you as an individual hosting a show wants to do. Good example is when we were at TP USA, and I said, I think people should be allowed to keep and bear arms all the time. And Charlie responded, I don't ban guns. The state, the city, the venue, they ban guns. And then it comes upon us when we set up an event and our insurance company, our security companies, and everybody says, we will not provide a service to you because we can't secure it if people have guns. And we're like, well, it's not even about what we choose to do. So with that in mind, when Jack Black comes out and says, I no longer feel it's appropriate to continue the tour, certainly it seems like a dramatic overreaction to say there's no tour and no future plans anymore. No, I think this is him as saving face. Instead of them coming out and saying, our venues have all pulled from us and we've become pariahs. He's saying, no, I've made the high road choice to say we shouldn't because we're good people. I think they're in panic mode.
You're right.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Or ticket sales low, tour didn't sell out. Oh,
it was already sold out.
Well, and where were the other stops?
Except for two.
Were they mostly in Australia?
No, half of them are Australia, New Zealand, but there was Wisconsin, there was Ohio, I think there was Indiana, Michigan.
Tenacious D is a big band. I mean, they've been touring for
I just didn't know if they were on like their
Superstars.
specific international leg or something.
And look, I mean, go watch Pick of Destiny, classic 2000s movie.
Love it.
It's hokey silliness. It's not crazy, weird stuff. It's not for kids, but it's goofy. They defeat Satan. Satan's a bad guy. They fight him in a rock off and take
but
his
he can
horn
shred, I think.
He can shred. Yeah. It's a funny movie. And like I said, these guys live in this liberal culture where they were allowed. It's not so much they're allowed to do it. It's that people were posting these things and getting followers from it. So in their minds, they're thinking, this is what the people want. This is what they expect. And now that's changed.
There's somebody going on a pretty wild meltdown on Twitter right now, and they're gaining a lot of followers too. So it's still getting positively reinforced, at least on social media, when people are saying stuff like, oh, screw that fireman who passed away heroically protecting his family. It's still out there.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.